All right, we're live. Hello, everybody. This is Keith Gleason for Indie Comics Relay. I'm here again with my lovely co-host, Johnny C. How you doing, Johnny? How's this week going for you, man?
Not bad. It's actually it's been a busy week.
Yeah, me too, man. I haven't stopped. It's been nuts between work and then comic stuff. It's been friggin' nuts. So
yeah. I just got some pages, edits from some lettering back on Surrounded by Death, and
awesome.
Yeah, I got the announcement of the new Vermont Comic Con happening, or the new Vermont Comic Show happening.
So I want to hear a little bit about that later.
Yeah, so that's kind of fun news. I've missed Vermont, so I'm glad to be kind of in the realm of coming back to it to a certain capacity, you know.
Awesome. All right, well, let me bring in tonight's guest. He's a guy that I've known for a couple of years now through Alterna Comics. Because we're both with the same publisher. I met him in New York a couple of years ago, and we've just been friends ever since. You know, I've done his show a couple times, and he's just a great all around great guy. So let me bring him in. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Rob Geronimo to the show.
Hey guys,
hey,
how's it
Rob.
going?
Hey Rob, welcome on.
Oh man, now I'm on your show. Now the pressure's on you.
Yeah, right. And then I got to come up with the questions now. You know,
it's a pain in the neck.
It is. But the way we kind of do this show is we kind of get into your origins a little bit. You know, and we celebrate our love for indie comics basically here.
Oh,
so.
Yeah.
And I know a little bit about your origins, but for somebody new, like how did you get into indie comics?
Indie comics. Also, in terms of like publishing indie comics, or like what got me into like comics in general.
Yeah, like what made first find indie comics and then want to make them, I guess.
I guess what really intrigued me was, the autonomy. Being able to own and, have the ownership, of what I make. Because when I found out that a lot of these guys who worked at Marvel, who created like Ghost Rider and all these great characters, they don't get anything from that, blew my mind, Yeah. So I was like, that is such a bummer. I was like, I don't want that to happen, So
it's true. I mean, I think they are getting a little something now, but not all of them. Only the major guys, Yeah,
and they had to fight. I mean, like if you create those characters, back then, it's like, man, like they could slap that on T-shirts and do whatever they want, and it's that hurt me.
Oh, yeah.
If it's one of your babies, if you made that character, that would break my heart. So that was a big thing, and I tell people I like the hard road because indie comics at the end of the day is the hard road. You got to generate your own excitement for excitement around the book. You got to promote, but I like the direct fan interaction. I like the hard sell. You know what I mean? Getting people to to learn about your book. Face to face in the small press aisle in New York Comic Con and stuff like that. It's different.
Yeah, I like. Like ever since I was even like a young kid, like I always loved seeing, like other people's, like even friends and stuff, like their interpretations of comics and things like that, like even if it was like, like a ripoff of whatever was hot at the time, I still love seeing it,
Yeah, it was their vision. That's why. And that's what I love.
Yeah.
Like their vision, no hindrance, no outside interference of I don't want to say maybe editors, producers, whatever.
Yeah, no, it's true. There's like definitely a freedom there, which I love too. Johnny, I would imagine it's the same for you as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely an advocate of self-publishing, and really a lot of it's the creative control to what you can do with a character. A lot of my frustrations with deciding to self-publish came from New York Comic Con, where early on, one of my books, I was behind the table of the publisher, and I just felt so underrepresented. You know what I mean? It was just like, obviously they have their priorities. They have to sell all, prints and artwork and things like that. I totally get that. I totally get that hustle. And, that's part of the reason why I was there, is to sell my own book. But if I wasn't there, I feel like I probably may have not gotten the same impact. So it's like, it really motivates you to take control into your own hands, and get your own booth and really just, present the work the way you want it to be presented and the way you want it to be seen. Exactly. And connect with, like you said, directly with your fan base.
Yeah. No,
I agree. I think we got Roland here saying Jim Starlin gets more for Warlord than Thanos.
I was thinking of
that's crazy, right? Like, if you think about it, like I agree. Like, I think, like, being your beholden to no one but yourself, I think is a good place.
Yeah.
But also you got to have, you got to be able to look at yourself a little objectively too. You can't be in total love of your work either. No. You know what I mean? Like, I think that's a huge thing. So once you started seeing, like, the freedom with indie comics, when did you decide to like jump in and make your first comic?
I decided, I was going to do this for real with like crowdfunding. Once I found out crowdfunding was a thing and then it could get financed or even local grants, I was like, oh, wait a minute. So it could be like a pre-order thing. I like that, and that finances everything. That was really huge. So this was back in like 2012 was when I did my first Kickstarter. It was for a children's book that kind of like was an homage to the classic news strip Little Nemo. There was a little
news strip.
Yeah. So I wanted to make basically a picture book that was like a comic book without words, because that's how I always read comics when I was a kid. I never actually read the speech balloons and the captions. I would kind of make up my own story when I was young.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. So
that says a lot too about Blood Realm.
Blood Realm, exactly.
But anyways, So and then so what happened with that comic? You got it created.
Yeah, it got out there. Exactly. So like basically it was a good stepping stone, because I always wanted to do horror, but I just felt like I had to draw like other people to get in, So I was still you could still see me in those illustrations, but I was still like afraid to let the creepy come in. You know what I mean?
Who were you? What style were you aping? Was it like a Bernie Wrightson or something like that? Or
believe it or not, it was more like Magic School Bus and stuff like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Didn't you say you told me you studied or you were?
I studied with him.
To that guy, right?
Yeah, with Bruce Deegan. Yeah,
Bruce Deegan. Now that's the creator of the Magic School Bus.
He's the co-creator and the illustrator of Magic.
Oh wow,
School Bus.
Okay. Because I know of that, but I never, I never really. I've just heard about it. I never did. Sure. I never looked at it really. But that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So with the copy of Blood Realm I read today, visually, like the first page, I kind of got a little bit of that Sin City feel.
Yeah,
which I loved. I love the stark contrast colors and the black, like just the minimal black and white with like a splotch of color. Like the first page is just like kind of starry splattered background, and then just the red figure, and I love that.
Yeah,
and as I went through the book, even more so, I was just getting flourishes of like Mignola and like Lovecraft and just kind of like adjacent. I kind of like. Some stuff felt a little bit like Hellboy, and I loved that a lot. It was really just a pleasure to read.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, all of the above. You're absolutely right, because that's Mignola and, like you said, mainly Frank Miller was when I was like, oh, people draw like me, because that's how I always drew in my sketchbooks, and I never really thought that it could be marketable, because if you do my sketchbooks, when I would warm up to do these children's books, I would draw stuff that would haunt your dreams. And it's ironic that I would do that first before the children's book. And then I remember one of my teachers said that your real voice is what's in your sketchbook, because what are you doing for fun? Because that's the key. If you're doing that for fun, then that's what you should be pursuing. So,
oh, gotcha. So is that why you kind of shifted towards something like Blood Realm?
Yeah, because that was always there. And I remember showing one of my teachers, because I ended up going to FIT after that, and the Fashion Institute of Technology in Manhattan. And I remember they were like, your drawings in your sketchbook are infinitely different, like completely different than what you're doing for your work. And I said, yeah, well, this is just the sketchbook, And they said, why don't you start going in this direction? And I was like, okay, And then sure enough, I never forget, it was Rudy Gutierrez. He was the cover artist for a lot of Santana albums.
Oh, okay.
Right on.
And Dennis Dietrich, he did some Metallica album covers as well. And they were like, yeah, you should be going hard in this direction. And sure enough, it started to be fun again. And then stuff started to come naturally. So I was like, oh, my hand naturally moves in this direction. It wants to go with vivid line, like different type of energetic line, flat blacks, you know what I mean? And some splatter, because that's what I would do. So I ended up embracing it.
Do you have, go ahead, Johnny.
I was just going to say, those influences you mentioned, they shine through in the close-up on some of your characters as well, particularly Meek on the second page. It's just like, you mentioned some Metallica covers and things of that nature, and I can kind of see it. Like I can see shades and tones of the influence, and I love that. I love how it kind of, there's a certain, because I grew up with those albums too, and listening to them and really appreciating the artwork and buying the T-shirts and things like that. So there's a lot of familiarity in that sense when reading it as well.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, what's funny is that I guess maybe because I don't know what it is, but a lot of my readers are all metalheads.
Oh, really?
I don't read metal. I read metal. I don't listen to metal.
It shines through.
I guess Blood Realm is reading metal.
I can see that though. Like even I'm not metal either, but like when you see cartoons like Metalocalypse or just things that are parodies of heavy metal, I totally see it.
Well, can you really imagine H.R. Giger like rocking out to heavy metal? You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, the thing that I find interesting too, Rob, about you coming from like the storybook background and then coming over to this is that Blood Realm kind of feels like a storybook gone wrong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like because it's kind of a comic, but it's also like, you'll just do a full page spread of like the image and then you'll just have some text on the side and stuff. So it almost feels a little bit like a storybook too,
Right.
I guess we lost Johnny. But anyways, that's the feeling I kind of get from it. Like, is that sort of what you were going for with Blood Realm?
It's funny because I loved picture books. All that stuff because I grew up on that stuff, and that without a doubt was a big influence, without a doubt. So it's funny you mentioned that because it's funny the things that that influenced you when you were young that got you into this stuff in the beginning is kind of like what gets you motivated throughout your whole career. Is that Drama listens to Deathlock Drawing Blood?
It's a reference to the Metalocalypse. No, it's true. Because even when I was a kid, I was like big into the comic strip stuff, and that's all the kind of stuff I used to draw. Yeah. So I get that. Like, going for what and I love. So I think the thing I like to love about Blood Realm is what Johnny was saying earlier about Frank Miller influence. Like, because when I saw those first issues of Sin City, and like those panels with Marv in the rain, just so gorgeous. In the way they're just kind of like cut out, like it's just like shapes, like strewn together, and it's just the way he uses black and white and then one color. I mean, it's so apparent in Blood Realm, which I love. Yeah, and the other thing I like, because I've read both miniseries. I haven't read the new one yet, but I love how you're building that world too.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm a big fan of mythology, Greek mythology, different religions. I love all of the world building that goes into all of that stuff, all of the lore. Tolkien obviously is like number one. I mean, I tell everyone I read The Hobbit once a year. It's just
that's awesome.
It shows, a lot of that influence shows in Blood Realm. the first thing that kind of caught me was if I remember correctly, the phrase was like there was a swelling fear within me, and I was afraid there's going to be nothing left. And I immediately thought of something like The Fly or like The Thing, and you know what I mean. Like transformative body horror is so creepy to me, and like you did it so perfectly here. And then and furthermore, just the mythology building, like you really. You laid out a lot of groundwork in that first issue, and then you beautifully tied things back around at the end, and it's awesome. It's a really good first issue with a great hook at the end to keep you going for more.
Thank you. Yeah, that was the purpose of the first issue. Is kind of like, hey, this is the introduction to this world,
right?
It's like it's like the kind of the story setter. We had to like get the lay of the land, and now. All right, now that I introduce you to what this world is like, I'm going to take you on a twisted pilgrimage.
Yeah, that's awesome. You set the table pretty much. Yeah, exactly.
Another cool thing, Johnny, that I think Robert's still going to do eventually. Like you said, you have a plan for a bunch of mini-series, but then he wants to take them all and collect them into like a giant tome.
I can't wait.
I can't wait to see cool. Like you're reading just like pages ripped out of like this like lost book.
That is the goal. Like that is.
I can't wait to see that. That's gonna be the day you make that. I'm gonna be like, I can just see the seal on it, like using one of those like wax stamps. They used to use in like the 1800s. And stuff.
Dude, I have that. I have the candle. Do you really? Oh my! I'm ready, dude. I'm ready now.
He's ready for it. I want to package it now.
I'm spoiling it for people, but maybe some people will forget. But I plan on wrapping it. I already have I'm not even kidding you. I have the black wrapping paper, and I'm gonna wrap all the books, and I'm gonna seal each book with I got a special little seal. With the wax.
I can't wait to see this.
Man, I'm ready. And this is I'm 2 years early. 2 years early.
Very, very cool.
That's awesome, dude. I hope that happens because I'm dying to see that.
Yeah.
I was going to talk. So now, Rob, do you like? I know you're kind of locked into Blood Realm for a long time. Are you doing or have plans for anything else besides Blood Realm?
Yes. So.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Yes. So somehow, I don't know. Maybe because I don't like sleep. Who needs sleep, right? So
right. Yeah.
Right. Why not put more stress and more projects on me? I'm doing. So first off, I'm a huge fan of classic slasher films.
Me too.
Really? Black Christmas.
Oh my God, one of the best.
Yeah. Oh my God,
the best.
It's one of the best of all time, without a doubt. And I always wanted to do one of those. I had a story on the back burner. I have a character.
Yeah.
So now, like we were talking about indie comics, we live in this wonderful age where Indiegogo now, or Kickstarter, but I'm going to try out Indiegogo, has become the thing where you can get fresh, real underground comics that feel like, kind of against the grain of what's out there in the mainstream, because I feel like Alterna is already like that. But now with Indiegogo, you can crowdfund that kind of stuff. So I'm going to be doing a slasher book called Wirehead. That's the name of the character.
Oh, interesting.
Nice.
Oh, I can't wait to see the designs on this guy. Are you gonna design the slasher?
I designed the whole thing. I actually have a former student of mine who I've been working with for years who's going to be illustrating the book. He did a couple of stuff with me for it came out on a Wednesday with Agent 87. But
I've seen those. Yeah, I've seen those pages. Okay, he's pretty good.
But he loves horror as well. So now his art is really shining through this
awesome
stuff. So I can't.
That's great. Like now, is it going to be like one self-contained story?
Yes. One self-contained story.
Like almost like the first movie.
Yes,
right?
Yeah, exactly. Yes. Right.
And
how long of the story are you aiming for?
It's going to be roughly like 64 to 74 pages.
Wow, okay.
So
you're gonna think sequels too, because
I got a whole verse. Peter was like, "Hey, Peter's like, you have to do a slasher verse, right? I'm like,
yeah,
oh, man,
right.
now that you said that, now I have to do it. So, I already have characters lined up. I mean, I can't wait.
Great,
we're gonna launch it in October.
Oh,
so awesome. Soon, well, dude, maybe we can have you back on when
please,
when it's ready to go, and get some more words out there for you.
Are you going to release it in the full chunk, or are you going to do it like an individualized series?
Full.
That's great, man.
That's ambitious. I love that.
Yeah, it's gonna be a full.
If you do Indiegogo, Rob, I've done both now, Kickstarter and Indiegogo.
Yeah,
I think Indiegogo is a lot better for creators, to be honest with you, for a few different reasons. Yeah. But if you're going to do that in October, what I would do now, if you have any of the artwork, start doing the pre-launch stuff and try to get like your email list going.
So I was going to launch that. I'm waiting for the colorist to color the cover right now because I just got the final art of the cover, and it looks insane. We have about the first chapter of it already illustrated and everything.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So the kid's a workhorse, then. Huh?
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm whipping him.
That's great, because you know how sometimes with indie comics, it's like you can get a great artist that can go like that.
Yeah.
Or you can get an artist that's good that you don't see pages for like months and months, So it's always a crapshoot,
Exactly. But you have to. I feel like, the excitement and the kind of it's contagious. So if I'm excited about the book and I'm really jazzed, he gets really jazzed, and that's how it goes with a creative team. It's contagious, that kind of stuff. Launch at midnight. Call it Geronimo after midnight. I like it.
I think that's great. Yeah,
I like it a lot.
And then someone said, I didn't know this, but Friday the 13th 1 through 4 took place in the same week.
Really?
Oh, really? That's a fun fact. I've never known that.
Oh, and then my wife getting the name wrong, Whitehead instead of Wirehead.
He's a giant pimple.
He's a giant pimple.
His arch nemesis. I actually love that.
No, she corrected there. Okay, she corrected right below it. I didn't see
Whitehead
it.
Would be
Sorry, Amy. I thought that was funny.
But that would be a creepy, gross character. So
I can't wait, because when you say Wirehead, I picture like a Cenobite type creature from like Hellraiser.
Yeah.
Like something like that.
Yeah.
But like the best thing about slashers, you have to have like a cool origin. Like that's the thing.
Yeah,
the key to making like the slasher movies work. Although I'm curious to see. I've read a few of the Friday the 13th comics that Wildstorm did, and they were okay. They were okay.
Yeah, they were okay. It was the art. I feel like you need to go all out.
You need to, and like you got to stop like falling in love or trying to make the fodder more interesting. Like
exactly,
because that's where they get caught up sometimes. Is like trying to make the human characters like a little more interesting than they are when they should just be cannon fodder. I
agree. But speaking of which, all right. So two things. Speaking of cannon fodder, real quick, I love this is going to make some people turn off maybe, but I love ABC Requiem.
Oh, I do too. Actually, the second one,
yes,
yeah, the second one's great. I love how vicious it is to all the humans, like
so brutal.
Because the first one was like the humans teaming up, and it's like no, the predators wouldn't have that shit. No. So that's why I love in the second one, like that girl that gets like the net, like like
great,
and they're just collateral damage. I thought that was great.
I really enjoyed that film, but the thing is that one of my favorite moments, believe it or not, in a horror film, is the opening of Twilight Zone the movie. You ever see that?
I did, but I don't remember what the opening is.
So I just wonder if the chat remembers, but I can't. Is it Albert? Well, it's Dan Aykroyd, and I'm gonna forget the character who he's talking to. He's a comedian. Oh my God, Albert Brooks, is that who I'm thinking of?
Yeah, he was kind of big in the 80s.
I think it might be.
Or Albert Finney. No, is it not Albert Finney? No.
Oh, I can't remember. Okay, well, anyway, it's an amazing scene because it's the two of them. The chemistry is so natural. And they're in the car, and they're talking. And Albert Brooks, that's who it is.
Okay.
And it didn't feel forced, and you actually get immersed in the scene. And then when the thing actually happens, because it felt like a normal conversation that would take place in a drive in the middle of the woods.
Okay.
And then when the thing actually occurs, it feels jarring, because you were very much engrossed in the conversation that was.
You got to go back and watch that now, because I don't remember that at all.
Yeah, it's been a long time since
I've on YouTube.
I remember they remade the William Shatner thing.
Yeah,
and then of course there's the famous thing that what's his face died
Vic
on.
Morrow.
Vic Morrow died, and then it? And they redid the one with the kid that could control everything.
That one freaked me out.
Yeah. It was Bill Mummy in the original. I remember that.
My god, he appeared in that one.
I can watch that because I remember I did love that movie.
It's great. Oh, it's great.
And I love, actually, speaking of like those kind of horror movies, I love those anthologies too, like Tales from the Crypt, Tales from the Dark Side,
Creep Show.
I've been watching the new Twilight Zone.
How is that?
CBS. It's not bad, but I watched one last night where it was underwater, like an underwater base, and they were studying underwater life and specifically octopus. And they captured one that was like way smarter. It was like way advanced. It was just awesome. It was like, and then they suddenly it became like much like a slasher movie. The octopus was taking out each crew member one by one. It was really cool.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
I didn't like this first season. I heard this one was better.
This one is a little bit better for sure.
Why was it too serious? Is that what it was?
The stories I just found were a little bit lame, compared to the originals.
That one's much like the UPN one. Remember the UPN one that had one season? Those were terrible.
Forrest Whitaker, wasn't he the host?
Yeah. Forrest Whitaker, that's right.
Forrest Whitaker is the host. Oh my
Jordan Peele's a pretty good host for this one.
Is he? It seems like it has better production value, if anything,
Yeah. Oh my god.
But no, that's great. I'm looking forward to seeing that, because my original point before we went off on the tangent was that besides the Friday the 13th comic that I read from Wildstorm, I don't think I've ever seen an effective like slasher comic book.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I loosely say Friday the 13th because I didn't think that one was that good. I mean, they tried to do it seriously, but I don't know. It just didn't really work for me.
Right. Well, I think what we're going to do is to really capture that kind of creepy feel, it's going to be in black and white.
That's a good idea. Originally, are you going to do like a one color thing like you do with Blood Realm, or no?
I was going to, but I really thought about it. I was like, there's something, retro about it. This is something, it's like, isn't it weird that when we look at the old classic Twilight Zones, that there's something about it with the black and white that makes it feel eerie,
I agree. Yeah.
So
even if you go watch like the original Night of the Living Dead.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's something about like the way it's filmed and like,
Correct.
Dale makes a good point in the comments. Hack Slash was a really good horror comic series for slashers.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've never read that. I heard that was really good. Like,
it's pretty good. I've read a few of those. I dig it.
I haven't checked that out. I'll look into it.
I turned Amy onto the Dollhouse Family, which I thought was a great horror comic. One of the best ones I've read in a while.
Really?
Have you read that?
No.
It's one of the ones that when Joe Hill had like his line at DC Comics. There was a mini series that came out called The Dollhouse Family. That was written by Mike Carey, who did like Lucifer for Vertigo. He's really good.
Oh yeah, he did Constantine also.
Yeah, and
that's right.
It was a page turner because it was like one of those stories I didn't know where it was going the entire time, and you think with the title like that, you're like, oh, it's just going to be a haunted dollhouse. But it's sort of that, but way more than that. So I recommend getting that when it comes out in trade, or if you can find the singles. It was really good.
There's a certain charm for black and white too. Like I distinctly remember the I watched Dark Shadows, the old black and white series, and I always loved during the final credits they would always show like a scene from either Collins Manor or like one of the other, huts or one of the other houses, and like it would be black and white, and like just the inverse of colors, like candles would look like black flames.
Yep.
And it was just so cool. Like black and white added like such a charm that's kind of lost in translation nowadays sometimes.
I agree. I think a lot of modern colorists, unfortunately, they kind of overpaint sometimes.
Sometimes.
I agree with that, definitely.
You lose the line. So because I originally wanted it to be in color, and I really like what the colorist did and everything, but when I saw everything in black and white, I was like, damn, I realized that that the colors are kind of taking away some of that line work that Michael, he's the artist, Michael's doing, because there's so much going on with the line and the textures. So I was like, you know what? I think this might be best, in black and white, as like a drive-in horror movie, black and white kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Even like the old, if you think about like Psycho, how great is that movie with black and white? I just wish like more people had an appreciation for black and white.
Yes.
I think there's a lot of people that it's like they see it. It's like subtitles. They see it and they run. You know what I mean? Like they can't.
Right.
They just can't get into it. I love it. A well shot movie in black and white. As a film nerd, I can sit there and watch it. I love the lighting and the things that they do.
And there's plenty of blood and guts in this one too. So it's like
awesome.
None of it will get lost in translation.
Yeah, that's great.
Real quick on black and white movies, it's like I love. There's a more recent trend that they'd re-release movies in black and white. They did it for Logan. They did it for Mad Max.
Oh yeah. That's right. That's right.
I love that they're kind of trying to get back to that.
Mist as well was originally filmed in black and white.
Yes, and talk about one of the best modern horror movies of the last 15 years. Freaking love that movie. And I think it's because of the ending. If the balls on him to do that ending, I applauded it when I was setting. You seen that movie, right, Johnny?
Well, which movie is it?
The Mist. Stephen King's The Mist.
Yeah.
The ending.
Awesome.
The ending.
Brutal.
And it's you either love it or hate it, because my wife hates that movie. The ending.
It was The Mist that got me so excited for the Walking Dead TV series.
Yeah.
And the comic at times felt very hopeless. Yeah. So I was like, okay, well, The Mist was a very hopeless ending. So it would translate well. And sure enough, he kind of did capture lightning in the bottle there in the beginning a little bit.
Sure. Yeah, and that's where I kind of fell off Walking Dead when as soon as he got fired, I was kind of like, all right, so the fans are writing this show now, so I guess I can be out of here. That's what it felt like.
White is that I try to watch The Crow once a year.
Oh yeah, great.
I'll watch it with the contrast all the way down, so it's in black and white.
Oh, that's a good idea. That's a movie that I would love to see in black and white, actually.
I mean, the comic is just synonymous with this being a very early indie black and white book. Beautiful black and white artwork.
Someone else mentioned Kill Bill, my wife here. House of Losers, black and white, very effective. I agree with that. It just did Johnny dropped? Johnny dropped out. But that's so. To go back to the comics there for a second. So, are you gonna do that in between Blood Realm?
Yes. So
you're just writing the slasher.
Yeah, I would love to write it. I mean, I would love to draw it rather, but I was realistic. I was like, once I started trying to do it, I was like, my head's gonna explode. There's no way I'm gonna be able to do all this.
Yeah, because you have a 9-to-5 job too, right?
Well, it's now with the pandemic, it's not quite 9 to 5, so that's why I have a little time. But still, I'm using that time for Blood Realm. Yep. So it's I'm in New York still, so like there's a lot of restrictions right now with the pandemic. So because I teach.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And you get they not to go into a whole COVID thing, but are you working remote now too? Yeah. Why that's happening? Okay.
So that's why it's like my schedule's a little bit different, but so I'm using this time to finish Blood Realm, but I was like, I want to get this going. So,
I know what that means, because I have an idea that's been like bothering me too for a little while that I want to get out, and I think I might crowdfund it eventually.
Yeah,
but I'm so busy with the mascot stuff. What's that?
No, I'm nervous too, because it's like my first Indiegogo, it's like, oh man, you want to make sure everything is correct and right. And it's like, I remember what you were going through.
Definitely. Yeah. Oh my God, dude. And I'm learning so much just from this one that, if you ever need any advice, definitely hit me up.
Yeah.
And, are you going to put that out through Alterna, you think, or no?
Well, Pete and I are
or
talking
if Pete wants it. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure Pete would take a look at anything serious that you bring.
Oh yeah. No, he's interested. We want to see I want to see how everything goes with the Kickstarter first and everything, because it'll be nice to get that those funds to help pay for the artist and pay for the
definitely.
Wes Walker's gonna letter it, by the way.
Is he really good? Yeah. That's great. Yeah, use Wes. He's awesome.
Yeah.
He gave me a lot of pointers because I hit him up on Twitter about different fonts that he uses, because I letter mascots, and I wanted to get away from using like a lot of the free fonts that are out there.
Sure.
And I wanted to get a little more professional looking. So
the good stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So he gave me a few fonts to kind of grab, and so I thank him personally for that. That'll be awesome, though. What I was getting at, though, is if Pete gives you any advice about the Indiegogo, definitely listen.
Oh, he's been great.
Yeah. Oh, good. Because he, I don't think I could have been as successful with mine without his advice, because everything I was doing was like what was big on Kickstarter 10 years ago, not now. Now it's a whole new game.
Oh, yeah.
So, it's crazy. But definitely, that's awesome, Rob. I look forward to seeing that, actually, because I'm a big horror guy, so I love a good horror comic if it's done well.
That's great. I guess I'll give like the elevator pitch, because we're talking about it so much.
Yeah. So let me hear it. Like you got the Survivor Girl and all that stuff, right?
Exactly, of course. So basically, a cybernetic terror kind of terrorizes unsuspecting teens in the Pocono Mountains. So that's the problem.
Interesting. I like it.
Plot thickens.
Yeah. Now the cybernetic terror has me in my interest peaked. I can't wait to see what you do with that. That sounds awesome. So like I said, when you get ready to launch it, definitely let us know, and we'll have you on. Let me look at some of these comments here. There's a lot of activity tonight.
I know. I see.
Most horror comics that I like are usually monster type of comics. From Hell is the only slasher type of comic that I remember really enjoying.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, From Hell's great.
Great book.
I remember, I'd love to see what I think of it now if I sat down and read it. But I remember when I read it, those issues when he's just driving around London and explaining the architecture. I remember being like, oh my God, is this ever going to end? And then it kept going, pages after page. Do you remember what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I was zoning. I was like, I think he's Alan Moore is brilliant, but stuff like that, I was like, oh my God. Well researched though. I think From Hell is amazing. Oh, yeah. And let me see what else we got here.
I know he had asked Adam before. I think it was Adam about what album cover. I never did any album covers. I get asked that a lot.
Oh really? Yeah, I could see that happening. Yeah, let me go back to the beginning and see if we missed any good comments here.
I don't know who I would do an album cover for. Maybe a metal
Pat saying hi. Hey Pat, thanks for joining us. We saw the Jim Starlin one. Sometimes art does the reading for you. Yeah, I agree with that.
Oh yeah, sure.
Marnie, she was a guest a few weeks ago. She's an independent writer herself, novelist. Comics should tell the story by itself first. Yeah, I agree.
That's how I was taught. I actually the undergrad I went to was a terrible art program. I will just say that.
Oh, really?
Awful. And the art instruction was no good. They didn't believe comics was art. It was one of those nonsense garbage things. So eventually I had to seek out instruction, and there was a course being offered at this place called the Art Students League in Manhattan. I had to commute there all the way from Staten Island every Saturday, Sunday. It was a pain in the neck, but I wanted to take it, and I learned comic book storytelling under Jamal Eigel, who's a DC
I know Jamal.
guy.
Yeah, I know Jamal really well.
Oh, do you? Yeah. So
he when we became friends with him years ago through a friend of mine that does podcasts.
Oh, okay.
And he actually was even in one of, like, I used to do. Me and my friends used to do a web show called Hero Envy. We used to basically write and act in it. It was basically like if Big Bang Theory was funny. Basically, that was the premise of the show.
Oh,
and
okay.
he actually he was actually in one of the episodes, and it's pretty funny. Like, it was pretty funny. He did a great job.
Yeah, he and his friend Steve Walker, who he did stuff for like Random House. It was a comic book called Sons of Liberty.
Okay.
Just great. They really taught me, how, to make. It's one thing to make pictures, but how to properly tell them sequentially was a whole nother thing. And, I didn't. It's funny. Like, I read the comic book, I was like, but how do I construct these drawings so that it feels like a comic book and not just individual drawings? Because you want that pacing. And one thing they always advocated was no words. I need to be able to tell what's going on in this story without the words.
Yeah, and I judge a lot of artwork that way, because that's what I learned as well too. Sure. I always told people to, like, and I don't know if this is great advice, because I've been challenged about it a couple times, but like when people ask me like how they come up with like a page of sequentials, I used to always tell people to look at like movie storyboards and like look at like, you know what I mean? Like, because I think in some ways those are like comics,
Oh yeah. Oh, the movement from scene to scene, from shot to shot, that was a big one, because
because you're kind of doing the same thing if you think about it. You're trying to capture a story in shots, so it's like, I always thought that was a good advice,
Oh yeah, they told me, they were like, study film. Now when you watch a film, I want you to pause it and look at the shot, and then pause it and then see how they frame, the establishing shot, how they frame the close-up. And then I remember, I was like, wow, and Hitchcock was like the master of that. I mean,
I agree.
You don't need to go to film school. You just need to study Hitchcock. That's all you need to do.
It's like you can enjoy the movie on one level, but your eye is like always looking at those shots and being like, oh my god, like look at the stuff Raimi was doing in Evil Dead and Evil Dead 2. Man. Those shots are like, oh my god, fucking, I love it. but like that stuff, I mean, it just goes with comics, I think,
Yeah.
Let me see if we got any more fun comments here.
Okay, was that? Sorry, I saw
just like a medium that relies a lot on the imagery. Like Robert, when he was a kid, some people like to just follow a story with no words. Yeah. I mean, definitely. I think that's true. Let me see. Have you ever done it? Okay, you saw that one. Have you ever done an album cover?
I have not.
First comic I ever read was The Max at 4. I still remember the striking imagery 20 years later. Yeah, I gotta agree. Sam Keith's stuff was definitely something that stood out. Definitely also stood out from all the other Image guys at the time, I think.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
Definitely. My wife, Black Christmas or Black Xmas.
Who's that? That's your wife?
Yeah. Yeah. So she did Black Xmas, the remake. Did you ever see the remake?
No.
With the yellow
remake
baby.
Of that?
Oh, it's horrible.
Oh,
but if you watch it
made recently, that means it's really bad. If it's made recently.
Made in the last 10 years.
Oh, the last 10 years. Okay.
If you watch it with friends and you have a few beers and you just make fun of it, it's a great movie. But if you watch it expecting the original, you'll be mad. I mean, I can't even get into it. How bad they messed that up.
I hate to break your heart, but I actually just Googled remake, and it says that it came out last December, 2019.
Oh, yeah. Okay, no, there's I forgot about that one. There's one that came out. Yeah, look up Black Xmas. It came out in like 2009, I think.
I was gonna say like they made 2006.
Yeah, 2006. That's the one.
God, they made one recently, and it's PG-13. Ew.
Yeah. Well, the one that I forgot about that. It was a miserable failure at the box office.
Drink every time to tie a little more.
What is it?
Oh, sorry, I just read Marnie's quote.
What did she write? A drinking game movie. Yeah, that's true. Sam Keith is as recognizable as Todd McFarlane. Yeah, that's true.
Oh, yeah, Pat.
What I was gonna say is, yeah, don't even bother with Black Xmas. It's just so bad. You remember how like iconic? I don't know if I'll spoil this for everybody, but how iconic that scene is with the eye.
Oh yeah,
yeah. Well, in the remake, what they decided to do was like stick the eye in everywhere they could stick it in every scene. So it's just like they took everything great about the original and just jammed it down your throat.
Ruined it.
It's bad, but it's funny if you can watch it in the right context.
Frame of mind.
Yeah. Like I remember me and my friends, we hated it, but then it's become a favorite of ours because we like to make fun of it every time we watch it. So
yeah, no, you got to have one of those films. I mean, it's funny. Like I said, going back to AVP Requiem, like when I first saw it, I was like, "This is ridiculous," yada yada yada, like screaming at the film. But then I'm like, as I started watching, I was like, I'm starting to love this for some reason. And I was like, wait, this is not an AVP movie. And then I realized I had to turn on slasher movie brain.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is a slasher movie with aliens and predators. This is awesome.
Yeah, I love Requiem. There's some like dark stuff in there, especially when the aliens are in the nursery.
Dude,
and like I was like, oh my god! So did they just imply that the aliens killed all these babies? Yeah, that's what you got from that scene.
Dude,
like,
you want to know how crazy I am about this film? I ended up watching the whole director's commentary and listening to it. Like I wanted to know what went on.
That's fantastic.
My brother directed it, and like the Pred alien is actually a queen. It's a queen Pred alien hybrid. So that's why the back of its crown is a little bit like the queen, and that's why it was able to make eggs.
Huh.
So it was so crazy. And the reason
I forgot that because they carried that over from the first movie, right?
Right. And the reason it went into the pregnant women is because it saw that the fetus would something for the eggs, her babies to feed on. Oh, it was nasty. But it was crazy.
That's amazing. But anyways, I was going to say, so we'll start to wrap up now. Before we go though, do you have anything images you can show us from the slasher comic or anything
I haven't revealed anything yet.
Oh, okay. All right. I don't want to put you on the spot.
You know what I will reveal? I will reveal one of the. I'm going to have a print pack.
Okay.
And I did do one of the prints. So I guess what I'll do is it
going to be like postcards for the Poconos or something like that, or
that's a funny
bad idea. Yeah,
I think that. This is
totally steal that, man.
Oh, I like that. This is actually going to be it's still a little bit of a work in progress, but this is going to be a vintage poster. So let me. Ooh, I like that. Let me make that bigger. I don't know.
So is that that's Wirehead? Oh, I like that.
Spoilers.
Dude, I like that. So it kind of reminds me of like the exoskeleton from Terminator a little bit. Is that
a little bit? Yeah.
Well, is that sort of what you were going for?
A little bit, yeah. I mean,
because I think like those when you just look at one of the exoskeletons,
yeah,
they are creepy the way they look like a real skeleton.
Yeah, you're right.
You know what I mean? Like just their face. Like I always found them to be disturbing because they do look human. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like a human, skeleton, and like, I like that too. Dude, I can't wait to see what the origin of this friggin' guy is.
Oh, it's gonna be nuts, man. And the story is gonna be just it's an amalgam of everything I love. I love aliens, I love slasher horror. Aliens, I love all the alien movies, but like, oh man, I just can't wait to reveal more of this thing. It's gonna be so epic.
Oh, I can't wait, dude. You already got me and my wife's money, so so you already got us as backers, so this is great.
Thanks, man. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'm sure everybody that's been talking about horror movies will definitely check that out too. Yeah, we'll definitely. Oh wow, I like that. So now you did this one?
This one I did. Yeah.
Yeah, I can tell. I can tell it was at your artwork. That's great, man.
Yeah, man. So yeah, that one's mine. So that's all you get.
I love it, dude. I love it, man.
Thank
I
you.
can't wait. And now the other thing I wanted to ask you though, before we go too, I saw the other day one of the covers of Blood Realm, and I think it had the numbering had changed on it. Are you getting going monthly with that? Or like ongoing, I should say, not monthly, but ongoing.
Ongoing, yeah. We're just gonna do the ongoing. So from now on, here on out, they're gonna be ongoing numbers.
So any new printings will have the correct numbering now?
Correct. So like obviously 1 and 2 will be 1, 2, 3, 1 and 2 and 3. And then instead of volume 2, issue 1, so the second series, it's gonna be issue 4.
That's great. Yeah. Actually, I think that's going to be better because, I was talking to some friends about because, like I didn't think it was a big deal. Like when Peter was talking about it, like, cause I was perfectly fine with, going with different miniseries, like just having, I didn't care. Cause I was just like, to me, it's just a story, but then talking to people and like people like really like the ongoing, series idea more.
I know.
A lot of people were telling me like, cause, and this makes sense. It's like, you don't have to like think about it. Cause it's like, so what's this number 1? Is this volume 3? Is this 4? Right. Someone coming in, like picture that someone coming into Blood Realm right now. You have 3 different number 1s. It's like, where do I start? Like,
it happens every time at a show, everyone's like, so is this the first one? I'm like, no, this is the first one of volume 3. And they're like, oh, so I can't start with this one. I'm just like, well, technically you can because, but
they don't want to, right? Because that's the way the collector works, They like want to start right at the beginning,
And I get it, but it wasn't Pete. Pete was trying to. It was because of Diamond. The way things were working with Diamond, and it was just more appealing. Oh, awesome! Thank you, Adam. I appreciate it. I'm going to update everybody on Twitter and Instagram. At Geronimo Draws is my handle. The pre-launch page is going to be coming out within, I would say, a week or so.
Cool. Yeah, good idea, man. Get that started now, and
I'm excited.
We'll definitely sign up.
Thank you.
And then you also like if you want to, I'll put links in the descriptions for your channel too. It's at Geronimo Draws on YouTube.
I don't know if it's but it's Geronimo. Oh, you mean it's Geronimo Draws. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's your YouTube channel. Anybody that's watching, I recommend getting a sub to Rob's channel as well, because he does a lot of great stuff. He has movie reviews.
Yeah.
And he's got some great, if you want to feel for Blood Realm, he did an animated comic there and he did all the voices for it too. It's great. Totally worth watching if you guys have not read Blood Realm and want a taste of what it's about. Definitely check that out. And then you do other things too. You do interviews as well.
Interviews. So what's great is that Pete is like a recurring guest now every Thursday.
Yeah, I saw that. Are you guys recording every week now?
Yeah. So tomorrow
we
have
awesome.
a new topic. So it's been great.
What's the new topic tomorrow?
Tomorrow is going to be strong female characters and how they've always been here. Because everyone likes.
Oh, cool.
It's important. I think we try to like go back to zero, but there's some fantastic characters like Jean Grey, Ripley, Buffy the Vampire Slayer that we can't deny that these characters existed.
Hell, dude, go to any slasher movie. I mean, the Survivor girl was always like, how awesome were some of those characters?
Nancy in Nightmare.
Oh my God, yeah, Nancy. I mean, you name it. Like, there's a couple girls from like the Friday the 13th movies that are great. oh my god, you just go to any horror movie. It's like, there's a lot of strong female characters.
Oh, Laurie
there,
Strode, yeah, absolutely.
Laurie Strode, yeah. I mean, how can you forget? How could we forget her?
What did you think of the 2018 movie?
I liked it. I liked it.
I really did.
I thought the spirit of I thought they really channeled like the original Halloween in that movie.
I
actually thought like that's what Laurie would be like,
Yes. Oh yeah. But my only thing is I wish they took 2 into account. I wish
yes.
I didn't realize when I was going in that it was erasing 2, because I feel like 1 and 2 feel like very much like part 1 and 2.
They do, although I gotta admit, like I watched 2 when it came out on Blu-ray a couple years ago.
No good. I haven't seen it in years, by the way.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if you watch 1 and then watch 2, there's a noticeable dip in quality from 1 to 2.
Really?
Yeah, like you could tell like Carpenter just was not into the second one.
He didn't do that one.
No, he only did like half of it or something, right? He only wrote half of it.
Is that
and then
right?
he just was like, I'm out of here or something. Like, I know he's not like, Carpenter. He's like a freaking nut like that. But,
well, he didn't want to.
It's not a bad movie. It's just how good 1 is compared to it. It's like, it's sort of noticeable, like that it's not as good. You know what I mean? Like, but I agree with you though, because I think 1 and 2 kind of go together.
Yeah,
as far as the storyline goes with Loomis and everything,
Right. Because technically that means we only get Loomis for 1 film if we go by this new storyline. Because, like, Loomis, fantastic.
Oh, yeah, I love Loomis.
Especially like sequel,
The only thing I didn't like about the new one was that new doctor. When he started putting on the Michael mask and all that stuff, I was just like, what the hell is this?
You know what that was? You know what? He was Michael's Harley Quinn.
Yeah, he was just like warped by it. Yeah, which made sense.
Yeah, he literally went mad trying to psychoanalyze this darkness.
Definitely.
It made him snap. Whereas goes to show you how strong Loomis was, because he didn't lose his sense of self. Whereas this doctor he just lost it.
So good. Yeah, that stuff's great. I told my wife after we saw that movie, it's like they just got to stop transporting Michael Myers on Halloween, the night before Halloween.
I know.
Like can't you transport him in the summer or something? Like
I know, or on Thanksgiving or something when nobody's around. Like, what
right?
My God. It's just funny. It's funny.
It is.
I have to say, I was actually scared of him in that one. Like, I haven't been scared.
I agree. And the other funny thing about the Halloween movies, it's like trying to imagine in like 10 years trying to explain to a new fan the timeline for the Halloween franchise. It's like it's gonna be miserable. It's like, we got these remakes with Rob. I hated the remakes. I don't know what you thought of those, but
I wasn't a huge fan.
Yeah, just
the first one was okay. I didn't like.
Yeah, I tried to get into it, but I just couldn't do it. I don't know what it was.
I don't like.
Rob Zombie didn't get it. He didn't get why the first one was so good.
Like the idea of making him like sympathizing with him a little bit is kind of like like the whole point was that he's literally the boogeyman incarnate,
Yeah, right. And then he's just to make him like white trash. It just kind of didn't work for me. I don't know.
No, I get it. They got to put him in space next, though. I have to say, because I really like Jason X.
Jason X was fun, man.
Come on, I have to say I enjoyed that way more than I thought I would. I saw.
Oh my God, it's such a good time. It's just a fun movie.
Awesome.
It's so ludicrous, but I love it.
It knows what it is.
It does.
I like
it's just having fun,
Exactly.
Just having fun, so. But all right, we'll wrap this one up. Everybody, thanks for joining us this week. We'll be back in 2 weeks with another live show. I don't know who we have as a guest yet, but we'll have somebody. And then I'll be back next in 1 week with another comic review. I think I have a stack of stuff to go through. So, but all right, guys, follow Rob. I'll put some links into the video description tomorrow on where you can find Rob.
Awesome.
Check out his YouTube channel, and also sign up for his new Indiegogo when it goes when the
this
pre-launch
week.
starts. And then also, Rob, where's the best place people can find you? Is it Twitter
Twitter
or Instagram?
Instagram, those two, at Geronimo Draws.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't think you're on Facebook at all, right? I think I looked you up.
This right here.
Yeah, just follow that. You'll be good. All right, guys. Thanks for joining us, and have a great night.
Thank you, guys.